to go over this tweet that I saw the other day. I found it interesting. We'll read it and then I'll give my take on it. I actually quoted this tweet, and then funny enough, Emma Sanders quoted it back. So, which is interesting. You know, people usually don't even pay much attention to what I say. So we'll get into that as well. But nonetheless, men think girls have it easy on Tinder because they get 1,000 matches on a weekend, but 99% of the matches are of this quality or even worse. And I mean, this is just a stupid thing right here. If you want to pause the video and read it, I don't feel like reading it because it's doesn't really have much to do with honestly what she said here. But the average man has no wit, no confidence, no empathy, no understanding of women, has extremely thin skin. Oh, and he's also broke, stingy, and selfish. I don't blame women for preferring to be single or just picking handsome guys for casual sex. Being alone with a cat, occasionally getting railed by random chads, is oftentimes preferable to having a relationship with an average man who offers nothing and is a net negative factor in your life. Yes, I know, you could say the same thing about the average woman who brings less value to a relationship than a $30 Thai sex worker. I guess declining birth rates are just part of today's evolution process. The ugly, selfish, and incompetent will be removed from the gene pool. The capable ones will remain. Well, that's interesting, right? And wow, I can't even put up a whole argument really for when she says here the average man has no wit, no confidence, no empathy, no understanding of women, because I would say this is true and is extremely thin skinned. I mean, you just talk shit about a man's football team and watch him go crazy, right? Um, Oh, and he's also broke, stingy, and selfish. Well, I mean, not every man is broke, stingy, or selfish. I mean, I don't agree with this part here, but I do agree the average man for sure has no wit, no confidence, not much empathy, no understanding of women for sure, and is pretty thin-skinned because, like I said, you talk shit about a man's sports team, he'll go nuts. Um, she goes to say, I don't blame women for preferring to be single or just picking handsome guys for casual sex. And you see, guys don't want to hear this, right? A lot of people don't want to hear this about the modern woman, but this is really what the modern woman has been doing for a little while now, a couple of decades. Now, listen, it's not all women, obviously. It's a small percent of women. I would say about 20 to 30% of women are engaging in a lot of sexual activity. And listen, there's nothing wrong with sex. Sex is a natural part of life. I mean, it's funny. We live in this culture, in this world that is very hypersexual, but at the same time represses sexuality with stuff like slut shaming, which is really big now in like the red pill, manosphere type communities, right? Where you hear a lot about this slut shaming and all these things that if a woman has had, 5 sexual sex partners in her life, that it's too much and all these things. But all this stuff to make men view women a certain way. But anyway, and it's hard for me to put up an argument about this as well, as she doesn't blame women for doing this. But what women aren't gonna like understand about if they engage in this is, okay, if you want to engage in only casual sex with good looking men, despite them probably being not a very good moral person, that's okay. Just understand the person that you are engaging with is not good, probably not good morally, and only about 20% of men actually get women. And that's the thing about women. They'll never understand that the vast majority of men are completely invisible. And it's like she said, whether that be because they have no confidence, no wit, and no understanding of women, because that's definitely true. But a lot of it is because the modern day woman has been socially engineered to have very unrealistic standards and expectations when it comes to a man. Um, Quite frankly, the modern woman does not really care about the guy's morals, character, really, what the guy knows, how intelligent and expanded of a consciousness the guy has. You see, you'll never hear a girl say that she wants to date a guy who has an expanded consciousness, who understands the history about the Federal Reserve, who understands what's taking place, who understands truth. You'll never hear a girl say this. You'll hear a girl say, "Well, no, I want a guy who's 6'3". I want a guy who's has got 6-pack abs and 6 figures in his bank account, and the whole 9 yards of that stuff, right?" So it goes to show that the social engineering that has been done to women to make them choose a very, very uh, particular man who is very hard to find, and quite frankly, there's not enough of these type of men for the women to go around, because the average woman, I'm not talking about hot women, the average woman thinks that they deserve a Chad, basically, right? How she put it. And for those of you who don't know, a Chad is like your typical good-looking guy, a guy who's handsome, basically. Being alone with a cat and occasionally getting railed by random Chads is oftentimes preferable to having a relationship with an average man who offers nothing and is a net negative factor in your life. Well, I mean, again, I think women are just choosing this, to be honest. Like, I think they could easily give the average guy a chance, because let's be real, not the average guy. I don't think, I wouldn't say the average man is a creep. There's creeps out there, but I wouldn't say the average man is a creep. Most guys I come across, I wouldn't say are creepy. Most guys I come across, I say for sure are lacking confidence. So, in other words, she's putting up an argument of, and women do this on Twitter a lot, of why they don't want the average man. And I don't really know what average is anymore, to be honest, because again, women have very unrealistic and unrealistic standards that cannot be met by the vast majority of men. It's not even like, half a man, like most men can't fulfill their standards, which is why all these women continue to be single throughout their lives, because of the way they've been socially engineered to go after certain men, or they view certain characteristics in men that actually are immoral as masculine, as attractive. So it's very dark. It's very dark the way the powers that be in this world have socially engineered us to view each other, because really what they've done is they've feminized the male a lot. They've empowered the woman so much. They've made the woman want and view certain things and act in certain ways that the men follow, because the men want to be accepted by women. Because me making this content, for example, makes me very unpopular with women, because women hate hearing this stuff. And I mean, men hate hearing it too. Everyone hates it, but especially like when it comes to like a love life with me, like I'm single, and this makes my love life very hard talking about these things, because it's so hard to find people in general who understand even half of this stuff, on a deep level instead of just a surface level BS. So anyway, I wouldn't say the average man offers nothing and is a net negative factor in your life. I would say your life might be a little boring, sure, but in this world economically right now, can we really do much? And that's another thing, is we could change this world, man. We could change it. We don't have to be in this situation, but not enough people want to change it. That's the problem. So, all right, I think you guys kind of get the point. I want to just touch on this last thing she said here, which is, I guess declining birth rates are a part of today's evolution process. The ugly, selfish, and incompetent will be removed from the gene pool, and the capable ones will remain. So this is a term you're probably going to hear a lot on both sides, whether it be misogyny or misandry, is this whole thing about evolution, about how, this is just where the world is going, this is how it was meant to be, this whole Darwinism, survival of the fittest, leave all these people behind because they don't meet certain characteristics or certain physical traits. And it's actually really messed up if you think about it on a moral level, this whole thing about evolution and all this stuff. Well, you know what the real problem is? It goes with what I was saying earlier in this video about how not only the modern woman, but the modern man has been socially engineered to act and to think. You see, if the modern woman is socially engineered and socially conditioned to act in certain ways and want certain things and want certain traits in men, like I said earlier, like tall, obviously good looking, rich, things of that nature. If they can psychologically condition the woman from a young age with the princess syndrome and the whole 9 yards to want these things, then when they grow up, they are going to pursue the men who are only attractive and fit and maybe rich as well, maybe high social status, stuff like that. And what these women aren't looking for is morals, what how expanded the guy's consciousness is, how intelligent the guy is, how much of a good person the guy is. You know, is the guy good with kids? I mean, just like basic stuff that, quite frankly, you never hear women say. It's all about the guy's height, the way he looks, his job, um, material things. It's not much to do at all with who the person is on a deep level. And, you know, it doesn't just go for dating. This is how we view each other as people. If I was a millionaire, right, like Andrew Tate, and making videos the way he does, I would get taken way more serious because I have money. So people would think I'm important because I have money. But because I'm not a millionaire, because I'm not rich, people don't view me as important. So it's quite a messed up world we live in when you really think about it. And I think we really need to think about this stuff in detail. Because let me tell you something, I'm 28, okay? I've lived alone for 3 years, and I can go a long time without talking to people. I go a long time without social interaction with people face to face, at least. You know, I have friends who don't live near me, but you know, we talk on the phone. I have family I talk to on the phone, but face to face, I don't really get much conversation besides work. You know, like my job is my job, but I'm talking like on a personal level. And you know, it affects my life because this leaves me with not many friends. This leaves me with not many options in the dating game, right? Because to get a date is very hard as a guy, and women will never understand that, how hard it is just to get a date. Because, I mean, most of the time the girl's gonna flake. I speak for all guys when I say that. And I'm not saying girls don't get flaked on either, but it's very hard as a guy to get a date. You, as a woman, you can get a date very easily. Um, So anyway, I hope you guys get what I'm saying here. I'm about to make another video now about the response that the misandrist made, so stay tuned.